We're live.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you so much for joining us. And please, as you sign on, tell us your name, your pronouns, where you live. Put that in the chat. We'd love to know how you're doing. How are you this morning, Future?
I'm tired.
Mm.
I'm tired. It's been a long 36 hours. So I'm tired. And at the same time, I think it's important that we hold space for everybody. So I'm here.
Mm.
I'm going to try to be as mindful as I can in this moment of time.
Welcome, Dan. Welcome, Conchita. Oh, Jonesboro, Louisiana. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Jackie L, for joining us. We're glad you're here too. Nellie Cuenca, howdy from Texas. Thank you so much for signing on. And tell us how you are feeling this morning. And it's unusual for me to hear from you, Future, that you are tired. I associate you with high energy all of the time. But I understand from our many conversations this week. Erica Diaz, thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad you're here. Houston, yay, thank you so much. I'm so pleased when I saw you signed on. I really love your work, Erica, and want to talk with you about what we're doing here. And Kristen, thank you so much. Bonjour de Montreal. We are international. Yeah, and I feel like this year has been really challenging for my mental health, more than I've ever experienced in my life. I've always been a positive, things are getting better type person. And this year, especially everything that's going on in our world right now is weighing so heavily on me. And am I doing enough? Am I doing the right things? Am I what can I do? What part can I play in making this world a safer, better place? It's really weighing heavily on me right now. So I would say I'm not physically tired, but I am mentally and spiritually
Exhausted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Nellie is saying mental health is every single day. I'm going to show that. Yes, Nellie.
Yeah.
And trying to role model for my kids, getting up and, still participating in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess what we want to do is thank you, one, for being here. We have people from all over. And if you're just joining, just drop who you are, where you're coming in from. And what we want to do is to begin this Friday with a centering of, hey Dan, a centering of everybody's peace. There's just a lot going on in the world right now. So we would ask you, how are you taking care of yourself, most importantly, and not just at night, not just on the weekends, not just, oh, I have that vacation day coming up. It is every single day. When are you taking care of yourself? So we said we're going to start our day and time with you on these lives pouring back into people. So what we're going to ask people is to please center on yourself right now. And how is your body feeling? And think about even your breath. Are you breathing shallow? Are you breathing deep? I have found one too many people that they breathe very shallow instead of breathing from their stomach all the way up. Karen, we talked about that when I saw what you were doing. So consciously breathe. This is a tip for anybody. Literally, when you're doing 5 inhales, exhales, it will help to reset, rewire your brain to a state of more peace and more calm, which who can't use that these days? So please do that for yourself. Take a moment to notice and recognize how you're even feeling. Also, for a space of peace, we want to center with what is bringing you joy. What is bringing you joy in this moment of time? Maybe it's, I could come to a space and see faces that are going to be honest and truthful with me of we're tired, but we're here, or we're at least centering our joy because so many have forgotten that. And we will put facades on of happiness and joy, even though the mask is actually masking suffering. So can you please share with all of us what is bringing you joy in this moment of time? Karen, what's bringing you joy?
I would say what is bringing me joy is Zumba.
Okay.
Getting my blood flowing, my heart pumping, and moving my body to music that I love, and the community of people who come to Zumba always leaves me better than when I started.
Yeah, that's good. I want to just address something before I say what's bringing me joy. It's saying in the comments, I'm not sure why, that I wish I could see folks' comments.
It's saying in the comments, wish I could see folks' comments.
Okay.
LinkedIn user. So maybe they're not able to see the comments unless I bring them on the screen. Is that what's happening?
I don't know.
Mhm.
I would assume, this is what I'm going to assume. I would assume that when you are in the live, you should be able to see people's comments.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if you go on one of our profiles. I'm trying to read everybody's. I don't see.
Oh, LinkedIn user says, I figured it out.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, so again, we're going back to what is bringing you joy. That's what we're opening today with. So we're asking everybody what's bringing you joy. Karen said Zumba is bringing her joy. My joy is so many things are bringing me joy. Humanity actually does bring me joy. There's a lot of times where I sit in curiosity of humanity and sadness and a disappointment, but for the most part, yesterday I had a keynote and I literally asked people this one question. This one question was, if you could literally say, I'm checking a button and it will take me to a planet and a world where I am literally the only one on the planet. Nobody's there. I don't have to worry about any other human being. Would you do it? I'm not even joking. That was the question. And I had a couple people for like a day or two, they were raising their hand of like, absolutely, I would do it. And I said, okay, if this is it, you're checking that button and there is no button to like say, put people back on to share community with. And we had one person that was like, maybe. So as much as I want to sit here and say, come on, get us together, people, I sense joy in my heart from just community. So this right here, sharing space with all of you, really is a bucket of joy filler for me. And there's a lot of other things that bring me joy too, but I'll go with that because we want to hear from you. It's not about us. Okay.
And I'm hearing from one commenter that they cannot see the comments. I think they might not be streaming onto Future's LinkedIn page, but if you're on LinkedIn and you come to my LinkedIn page, I think you can see them. I think that might be what is happening.
So look up Karen Fleshman. That's what you have to do. Look up
Yes.
Fleshman and come back in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have answers. We love StreamYard, and at the same time, I don't know what's happening.
Thank you, Nellie. Walking my son to school and daily prayer, truly focusing on the things I can control. Thank you, Nellie.
That's it. That's it, Nellie.
we can allow the other things to make us angry or heartbroken and grieve and all of that, and then shift our focus to the things that we can control.
Right.
Yay, LinkedIn user is saying I see them now.
Okay, that's good. This is good. Okay, so my mom is visiting us for a week. Awesome. Kristen, that's so awesome. Dan saying seeing us.
It's such an honor and pleasure to have seen you in person, Dan. Thank you so much for joining us. My joy consists of intentional living with a daily gratitude ritual immediately upon rising in the morning. Stepping outside to inhale fresh air sets the tone for an awesome day. Beautiful, Conchita.
Okay, so the LinkedIn user says, I'm not sure why you can't see my name. I'm going to tell you the why. I have it. It's your settings. So literally you have to go to your LinkedIn settings to set, I want people to be able to see my name, or it will show you as just LinkedIn user. So FYI, I'm sure you could Google that and it'll show you real quick how to change it. Okay. Hearing voices and seeing your faces. It's been a long time. I know it has been such a long time.
Yes.
But we're here. Okay. So we don't want to take much of people's time. However, I haven't done a live in a long time since Dan and I did it. And we basically said for our own wellness, we have to go on hiatus for a little bit. And we were going to come back and then life lifed. So we didn't come back yet. However, we need to talk. We need to talk because I keep having these conversations with Karen and a bunch of these conversations behind the scene of you're welcome. You're welcome, LinkedIn user. Okay. Jenny. So essentially, we keep having these conversations, and I keep standing in a curiosity of humanity and having conversations with some, and then some sitting in oblivion of what actually is taking place in our world and in our society. And more importantly, what top of mind for me is the Israel-Palestine war. And it's top of mind for me because literally as a mom, I'm sitting watching different videos in my feed on Instagram and seeing children and seeing family members, whether that was their father, their mother, their grandmother, grandfather, aunts, uncles, I don't know who it is, then like holding their children, whether that's in body bags for the like one last time that they have, or holding them, rushing them into the hospital. And if you need to check out, I am okay with you providing yourself peace and wellness. And I had to come on and say, what are we choosing here? Because at the end of the day, as much as people would like to create these either ors, I think we forget we are both and we are all humanity. And all people deserve basic needs. It's Maslow's hierarchy is what it's called in order to function in life. And can we see, regardless of what side you want to sit on, the harm and pain and suffering that is being caused to another, even if maybe we don't agree with how things have happened and unraveled over the last decade or centuries. And then Karen and I were saying, okay, we need to try our best to build bridges. Is this world not about, are we not on LinkedIn and all of these other social media platforms to have an understanding, to seek an evolution of mind, to open your heart a little bit more? And it is near impossible to do that if we can't sit down and try to be we. If we can't sit down to swaddle another in love and hold curiosity and a little non judgment so that we can seek an understanding of what another human is possibly going through. So we came on, and so we created. And so we want to nourish and co create with all of you for this exact reason, because we keep seeing humanity be unkind
Mm,
when you know, I believe, and we believe deep in your heart that we will not eradicate, erode anything with hatred.
mm,
If we are going to disease our own internal selves in our mind, our body, our spirit, our physical being, hate will destroy you,
mm,
literally. So if we can't come to a centering of love,
mm.
I am questioning, what does our future hold? And I am curious then, what does that hold for my children?
Mm,
Because we are not going to be here forever.
mm, mm,
Impermanence is a truth and a guarantee.
mhm,
So, Karen, I want you to weigh in because that was a long time of me
mm,
talking, and thank you for allowing me to say that. However, this needs to be said,
mm.
and it's why we're choosing to build and come together to bring us together.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that future and for grounding us in this time and what is needed. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier of what is it that I can control, right? What, how can I have a positive impact in the world is by being peaceful, by
Mm,
building bridges, by reaching out across difference, by seeking to understand,
yeah,
by listening, by empathizing, by seeing the humanity in all my siblings and not seeing any of my siblings as lesser than any of my other siblings. The same way I love my children all the same. To love all humanity, to recognize the humanity in everyone all the same. And this is why I'm so grateful to know you, future, and why I love your name and why I love listening and learning and collaborating with you because I see through you. You have the sense of the future. You have a vision in your eyes
yeah,
of what it is we need to have. And you are working every day to humanity's collective liberation. You are helping people get the tools they need, the social emotional leadership tools they need to be able to contribute to that future. And with that in mind, I'd love to ask everyone here, just I want us to take a moment and close our eyes and try to envision a future where all women, where all gender expansive people are safe and free and powerful and connected. And I just want us to take a minute, just visualize and really see it in your eyes of what that would look like. And when you're clear, I want you to put it in the chat. Like, what would it look like? What would it feel like if women, gender expansive people, if we were all safe and free and powerful and connected with each other? How would that feel?
It's a big question. So are you going to go first?
Mm, yes. I mean, to me, that would feel like peace. Everyone's basic needs would be taken care of, right?
Yeah.
There's more than enough for everyone to go around. All children would have access to good schools. All people would have good jobs, be able to have a roof over their head, be able to have time for recreation and culture and family time. And we wouldn't constantly be running around. Like sometimes I feel like a gerbil, I'm like whew, in that little wheel and just spinning, 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 spinning. Yes, wonderful and freeing. Yes, Paula. We would have our bodily autonomy. No one would be grabbing us, whistling at us, forcing us to do sexual acts or bring life into this world that we're not prepared uh, to be able to care for. Total bliss, like a breath of fresh air. Oh, yes. Like just that being able to be soft and not have to walk through the world all the time like highly vigilant and tense about what is happening next. Like someone I know who is hyper aware of her surroundings at all times. Oh, your audio.
It's like
Yeah.
a tennis match. There's some times that I feel like I'm at a tennis match and I'm constantly on swivel, or if I'm not on swivel, I am always constantly aware. You would never know, but I am always aware of my surroundings to the point where if I'm walking, this has actually happened before, Karen. I knew something was up because I do. I try to tap into my intuition. And we were walking out of a bar. This was decades ago with my husband and his friends before we were even married. And I'm like, oh, you made those people mad in there. They're going to come out. Right. So we're walking. Everybody's back, obviously, is we can't see anything. So I literally sensed that people were behind us and I turned around. I'm like, here they come. Right. So gave them a heads up, but nobody was even paying attention. Y'all are just walking as if nothing's happening behind you or to the side of you and only looking forward. And all this stuff is going on around you. So I helped them be prepared, is what I'm going to say. Uh, but there's some people who are either one, walking around totally oblivious, or two, have to, in some sense, for their own safety and well being, constantly be on swivel and aware of everything that's going around.
And the toll that takes, the hyper awareness from the
Right.
moment you wake up until you go to bed.
So, okay, we have two more things. Somebody says whole again, we would feel whole again, and a balance in the harmony
Mhm.
between all. And then we have health, getting more healthcare. So essentially, it goes back to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of literally all of our needs being met. And here's what I need to say to everybody is we have to remember all of this that we're seeking is essentially what belonging is.
Mm.
Belonging is a feeling, but essentially it's a fundamental need. There's
Mm.
research done on this. So it's a fundamental need. And unless we have several different components, which is being seen, being supported, feeling aligned, and positive interactions, if those four are not consistently aligned, pieces of those, not just like one piece, all of those pieces, people don't feel like they belong in
Mm.
whatever space, with whatever face. So I think at the end of the day, that's what this is all hinging on. It is hinging on people feeling as if they belong in all of the spaces that they have to navigate on
Mm.
this planet. Dan is saying, you're reminding me that I wasn't there to protect.
Mm.
Okay. So here's the reality. Um, humanity has to do better, which is why we're creating this. We
Mm.
want to create spaces where people feel okay with coming and talking about, how do I heal? How do I center my wellness? How do I have conversations across interracial, intercultural, interethnic lines? Because we're seeing there's like a great divide. People might say, but I have friends, blah, 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 blah. And you might. But if you take the totality, especially in the United States, of women or gender expansive people, a lot of their friends, or what they would call very good friends. I ain't talking about a colleague that you sit next to in your workplace or that you Zoom with. That does not count. I am talking about a friend that you actually share space with, somebody you could call and brainstorm with, somebody that will answer the call when you're crying, somebody you go into their house of, sit at a table on the weekends and eat food that maybe isn't like yours with. What do those people look like? In all
Mm.
seriousness, do an inventory audit of your own life, of the people you choose to share space with.
Yes.
What are their intersectionalities? And most people, oh, I don't want to say most, majority of people are finding, especially if we are women and gender expansive, you don't have that.
You
That
don't.
bridge has not been built yet.
100%. Which is a great tie-in to the question of what are the barriers to us living in this desired state of connection, power, safety, and freedom? Why is it that it's not like that? And I have to say, I'm frustrated, Future. I am furious because I see women, girls, gender expansive people doing all the right things, right? We are graduating from college in the United States at higher rates than men. We are entering the professional workforce at higher rates than men. Black women are the most entrepreneurial group in America, starting more businesses than any other group. Black women are the most highly educated group in America. And yet, I feel powerless. Another mass shooting,
I saw that.
and no elected official can be compelled to do anything about it. Like, it's just, why is there such what why is it that even though we're doing all the things we're supposed to be doing, we I feel powerless to affect real change about things that, the whole ice in the glaciers, the ice cap is melting, the climate is changing. I could go on and on and on.
We could go. Okay, and here's the thing. We could go on in our doom and gloom. We really can't.
Yes.
And at the same time, we could point out numerous headlines or happenings where so much joy and love is circulating too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because we also talk about, and we're very serious about minding our minds. You will destroy yourself.
Yes.
Literally.
But
You
I
will-
would 100%, 100%. And we're not trying to be doom and gloom here, but I'm just trying to express, like, why isn't it that we're able to be safe, free, powerful, and connected? What are the barriers, the obstacles for that? And I would love to hear from people if you can put it in the chat. What do you see as the barriers for us being able to be connected, safe, powerful, and free? Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome, Kristen. We're so glad you're here. And thank you, Ruth. Yes, for highlighting Future's beautiful words. So, any other thoughts? Like, what is preventing us?
White supremacy.
100%. Thank you, LinkedIn user. 100%. Literally, when you go back and study this, it's so diabolical. Like that the wealthy and powerful created white supremacy to accumulate more wealth and power and keep us all divided and hateful of each other, so that the hands of a few would accumulate all that wealth and power and just keep perpetuating it generation after generation.
Any other thoughts on what are the barriers for us to build bridges across interracial, intercultural, interethnic lines? Welcome, Kenneth. I see you just joined.
Mhm. And I heard you mention it earlier, Future, that we don't know each other.
Well, think about this. Okay. And I'm not mad at anybody about this, but here's what we have to consider. Where do you live?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm being serious on this question because here's what we see throughout the United States in all these different states and all these different neighborhoods. Oftentimes, neighborhoods could be very segregating. So if you live in a certain neighborhood, maybe it's homogeneous in regards to, well, we have a lot of Black people here. Okay. Or we have a lot of white people here. Okay. But we don't have a lot of we here. It is, here's one spot, here's another spot. So
By design.
So when it is that, then you have to then be intentional with going across lines to expand your minds. Going across lines to expand your minds. Because that means you're going to have to be intentional about, I'm going to this function this weekend. I'm driving into that area. Even though
I'm going to do my Zumba class, not at my neighborhood YMCA, but in a different neighborhood YMCA.
That's what it takes, intentionality. And some people are like, I don't have the time or patience or energy or whatever for that.
Yeah.
Or courage, even courage. Because I've heard literally people in my area be like, I'm not going to Milwaukee. So they will sit in their suburbs and literally then not go there.
And exclusively associate with other people who also live in their suburb. And really, what is the incentive? I will say this, that I am someone who is so blessed to have many, many strong relationships and friendships across difference.
Mhm.
And I had to initiate those relationships, right?
Yeah.
But my Black women friends were not coming to find a white woman friend.
What?
They're like, I need that like I need a hole in the head, right?
They're like, "No, I don't need more water. I will pass,"
Yes.
right?
And when I did initiate, when I would go to the Black Professional Network happy hour, they would make a beeline to me because they're like, what is this white woman doing here? Like they had to interview me to ascertain my intentions being in the space and was I safe, for
Mm.
to be in that space? Was I safe for them? Was I impinging on their safety?
Okay, so we got a few barriers, okay?
Yes.
A few barriers, and what we're seeing from Kenneth is, "Hey, we need more advocates." Yes, we do. Who wants to sign up? I'll send you a Google Doc. We do need more advocates. We do need more mentors. We do need more, which is why we said we're going to advocate for it. We're advocating for, can we please come together, please? And coming together is going to be monumental, essentially, in your skills in your professional and personal life, on top of what you're embodying and modeling for those that are literally watching you and you're leading every single day, whether that's a role that's been bestowed upon you in your workplace, whether that's you have children or grandchildren, or maybe friends or even a spouse. That if I gain these skills, essentially, then I'm better to then help create ripples and all those I share space with. So, we're looking at what are the barriers. Barriers, compassion and loving communication, better relationships, lack of community, sitting in discomfort, I think is a huge one. I will often say, 2020, I put this out because I love quotes. We are Houdinis of sitting with and sitting through our own emotions. We
Mm,
will do anything to escape them.
mm,
And we numb. As much as people are like, I'm not numbing. No, you're doom scrolling. You are literally numbing by just scrolling on social media for an hour or two or five, however much you're on here. Same with exercising sometimes, or eating, or I'm going to take a nap, or binge watching Netflix. You are really trying to escape your mind and all that's in it.
mm.
It's hurtful sometimes to your being to sit with the discomfort, but the discomfort will keep showing up unless you unravel and heal it. So, I guess my question is, what do you think barriers are? What do you think barriers are, Karen?
I think a big barrier is really time and space and imagination, right? I think like we get very hectic in our daily life
Mhm.
and we kind of lose track. I'm speaking for myself here of what is it that I'm really trying to achieve? Like, what are my real values? It feels like there's so many demands on my time that I need to help my son with his homework. I need to take my daughter to take her driver's license test. I need to run my mom to her doctor's appointment, whatever the case may be. And so, how am I creating enough space that I can really reflect on these bigger questions and be with people who share my same values so we can start to co-create the kind of world we want to live in?
Mhm. But that takes time, and it
Yeah.
takes attention. And will people carve out that time and
Mhm.
attention? Okay, are you gonna read this? Or
Yes.
give thoughts on what give thoughts?
Mhm. I agree with you, Pamela. Staying numb to it, avoiding the emotions, white supremacy continues to operate in keeping us separated, divided, counting on white women and men to avoid, diffuse, deflect, and stay blind to it. The more of us make space to feel it, see, and speak up, especially white women, learn how to have the courage to do so under guidance and leadership of women of color. That's exactly it, Pamela. And I like to say this, like, I love studying anti-racism, reading the books, going to hear people talk, uh, uh, all the different things. But the greatest learning in my anti-racism journey comes from my interpersonal relationships,
Yeah.
comes from my friendships. And that's what I see is missing. I see many, many white women, white gender expansive people who have come to the realization that white supremacy is something that I need to actively engage in dismantling inside of me, in our society. And yet they're active doing that, and yet it's been really challenging for them to build those interpersonal relationships.
Mhm. Okay, so here's my question to you. My
Mhm,
question to you then is, what you said that you've learned a lot, right?
mhm,
What is I think here's what I wanna do. I wanna be honest with the people that are watching because you and I have been in relation and we've built, several things together, especially for Interracial Sisterhood. This isn't always like smell the roses. So, I am not gonna sell anybody a ticket to or free fast pass to when you're gonna get into this interracial sisterhood building a bridge, the bridge is always going to be during summertime when flowers are in bloom and no rain anywhere to be seen with the beautiful temperature. That is not what is always going to happen. There are going to be lots of moments like that. And there's going to be moments where you're going to be like, whew, that didn't go as I had planned, but
mhm.
I'm still here. I'm here and I'm learning. Thank you for that. Truth.
Yes.
My
And
Go ahead.
and reflecting on the harm that I've caused, atoning for the harm that I've caused, repairing the harm that I've caused, transforming and growing, and doing all I can to not repeat,
Right?
and listening and not fleeing the scene at the first sign of, hey,
Right.
you are not holding up your end of the bargain here. And let me tell you what
Why?
you are doing. And
Mhm.
I want to thank you, Future, for sticking with me despite the many harmful things I have done to you, and the all the different ways that you've had to hold me to account. And I really, really appreciate and value that you are still here with me.
Yeah, Karen, here's the thing. Y'all don't realize. We'll get into people. I will check people in a quick second. Okay. Now, I will swaddle you in love and I will stand in curiosity and I will center neutral non judgment. And at the same time, I will not be hesitant to say, mm-mm,
Mm,
not today on my watch. According to my watch, this is what it says, right? Like, this is what it says. So, we have had moments where I'm like, Karen, FYI. Now, here's what I love about Karen. Karen doesn't turn into a Karen, okay? Karen, literally, Karen will be appreciative of thank you for calling me to a higher, less harmful
mm,
being. Instead of what most of us do, even if you're not Karening, okay? Even if you're not caring, a lot of times when people come to us to say, "Hey, this hurt my feelings," or this caused me pain and suffering, because we've all had those moments. A lot of us get very defensive when people come and bring that to us, instead of sitting there and us seeking to evolve my own understanding of life, seeking to understand my own understanding of human beings and their own personal lived experiences, and truly listening, a meditative, in tuned, present moment, mindful listening to what that person has to say, and thanking the person. Because the reality is that person doesn't even have to be courageous to even say nothing to you.
Mm.
They don't have to say boo.
Mm.
They could just take what they did and that's it. The relationship is done. I'm not talking to you anymore. That's what I've seen a lot of people. A lot of people are famous for ghosting. You don't even want to have a conversation. I love you that much and people that much that I am going to take my time, because it takes my time too, to sit here and have this conversation with you so that we can all be better and we can all have a little bit more self-awareness. But Karen doesn't literally turn into a Karen when she receives the information. She holds the information on her heart and doesn't just give lip service of, thank you so much, like some people will do. She actually then is intentional about changing her actions. You can't even say you care about a person if you just say the words of I'm sorry and then do nothing with the I'm sorry of changing your actions that were harmful to begin with. So this is not a cakewalk. I don't even know if people like cake, but I actually like cupcakes better. This is not going to be a pastry walk, a cake walk, a cupcake walk, whatever you want to say walk. This is going to be a walk that we think is needed in humanity, to sit and have intimate space to share with other women and gender expansive people who care about building the bridges, who care about building a little bit more love and kindness in the world. So, what do you think? What thoughts do you have in your mind, Karen?
Well, what Conchita says here, this is healing and very eye-opening, that we don't often have these very honest,
Right.
deep and real conversations across difference. And what's coming up for me, you know who I have right above my head here, what Audre Lorde told us, that, you know, she gave a speech after women failed to get the Equal Rights Amendment, and she was talking about why has progress for women been so limited in the United States. And she said, we didn't get the Equal Rights Amendment. We have made so little progress because every time we try to come together to create change and work toward our collective liberation, we don't have any patterns of relating across difference as equals. We only know how to relate to each other in hierarchy, right? Because that's all we've ever seen. We've seen it over and over again, that to be white is good, to be black is bad, to be straight is good, to be queer is bad, to be able-bodied is good, to be differently abled is bad, etc., etc. So when we get together, we start inflicting all this harm on each other, and then we split apart. And then through our fracturing and splintering, that's why we can't get to our desired future state. And she says, if we are to make change, we are going to have to create those patterns ourselves. We are going to have to recognize that our differences are actually something very, very powerful. And so if we can stay together across difference and use our differences as fuel, we can do great things together. But we can only do that if we are willing to have those hard conversations and take accountability for the harm and actually change our behavior.
So, which is why Yeah, it's about learning. And here's the thing, I think the biggest learning, Pamela, is learning ourselves.
Mm,
Learning the literally 95% of how we show up is from our subconscious mind.
mhm,
So your behaviors, your emotions, your actions, those are all in the greatest computer you will ever interface with, which is right here.
mm,
They're all playing as programs in your mind. And until we actually take time, sit and pause and actually uncover what is it? And are these things serving me anymore? And where did I even get those from? And is it causing me or others harm and pain? It is hard then for us to embrace and get comfortable with the discomfort.
mhm.
So, because of this, Karen and I said, we're just going to double down and we're going to create a space where people can share space. And it's not going to
Mm,
be for a bunch of people. We were very specific in creating, we don't want to do a large, we're not doing a large workshop. We're not doing a conference with lots of panels. That is not what we're doing because we need to seek intimacy. We need to speak collectively in a small space and intimately with maybe one or two faces too. And we can't do that with like a large group of people. So we said we're going to create this space to have and hold and co-create with all of you, which is happening in December.
yes. And along those lines, you know, Future and I have co-facilitated amazing online cohorts of women and gender expansive people coming across difference to heal our divides. And we've hosted one-off evening events, but we have longed for the longest time to have a multi-day in-person event.
Mhm.
And this is why we are so excited to share. And I'm dropping the link in the chat. And I'm going to also, let me see, hopefully I can do this and present over here. Share my screen. Share screen. Let's see. Here we go. Share. Okay. So can folks see this?
I think they can.
Yay!
And so if I can, they can, right?
Yes. Yes. So this is what we are so excited to share with you, that we are hosting a retreat in beautiful Miami, Florida, which is going to be perfect weather in December. It's like 70, high 70s, low 80s temperature. And we have such a gorgeous, gorgeous location and beautiful hotel for people to stay in. It is going to be something truly, truly transformative and beautiful.
So I think more importantly, we want to shout out the people that we're partnering with. And one of the spaces that we are partnering with is Quest Workspaces. What we love about Quest Workspace is that Quest is a women owned business. And obviously, we are here to help build bridges and empower women, which is why partnering with a women owned business was very close to our hearts of what we wanted to do. So this is a beautiful space that you obviously will get to see with most of the interaction that's taking place there. And then, Karen, you could speak to Medinda more than I can in
Yes.
regards to all the work that she is doing too.
Yes, and we're also so grateful that the law firm of Medina Orthwine, queer women, gender expansive people owned law firm in Oakland, California, specializing in plaintiff side employment discrimination, a law firm, Felicia Medina, has helped so many of my friends to fight for their rights with their employers and secured not only significant damages for them, but also really transformed um, institutions. So, for example, she was part of the law firm. Her law firm was part of the team that represented Black and Latine employees of Kaiser Permanente in class action against Kaiser Permanente, and really focusing on culture change within Kaiser Permanente so that Black and Latine employees can feel safety and freedom at work. So we're also super grateful to Medina Orthwine for sponsoring the retreat. And we've heard from so many of our past participants, such as Shelby Stewart, about the experience of being in our cohort. And that is exactly why we wanted to be able to live out our vision and mission inside of an in-person event. So we would love, 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 if you have any questions, please let us know in the chat. We would love to answer any questions. But who we're really seeking to serve with this are people seeking to be in community across racial differences to heal racial divides. So women and gender expansive people of color who believe they would benefit from expanding their personal and professional network to include more white women, and white women and gender expansive people who are actively unlearning our conditioning, are receptive to feedback and growth, and who want to earn the trust of women and gender expansive people of color. And queer, transgender, gender expansive, and intersex people are welcome.
So we are coming on because we're excited to share space with each of you. December in Miami, in a beautiful space. Now, I know some people have questioned, why are you going to Florida? And Florida, for some, may feel like I can't go. And you have to protect your peace and your wellness. While we also know from talking to different people in the community and that are going to the community, there has been continuous traction with different conferences of a variety of people from a variety of races, ethnicities, and cultures still going and choosing to go to Florida. We particularly chose Florida on purpose out of all of the states that we could have chose for one big reason. There is a lot going on there, and to leave sisters, brothers, siblings to say, deal with it by yourself in a space where there is a lot of division and questioning of people's belonging, we said that we were not going to do that. We are going to hold space for the people who maybe in this moment of time need the most space to be held. So do you want to go back up to the top, Karen?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody has any questions. You can email us.
I dropped the link to the application in the chat.
Okay.
So that's also, Future and I are committed to really curating who participates. So please apply, because we want to get to know you and make sure that everyone who is coming is working collectively toward a safe and productive environment for everybody else.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Well, I just want to thank everyone who has joined us here today and learned more about this experience. And I hope that you will DM us, send us messages and any questions that you may have. I want to thank you, Future, because this is this is something that I've longed to do for a long time, and I feel like your Taurus energy was like, okay, we are gonna make it happen. And you also have such a high standard and vision for how you operate in the world, much higher than mine. And so I feel like you have really pushed me out of my comfort zone in a good way. And I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm excited. I would say one of the things that I want to add in regards to the space is we were very intentional with choosing who and places where we are going to host people from the global majority and from the gender expansive community. Why? Because oftentimes we look at safety, and the spaces that we are choosing to partner with will be unveiling others, but the spaces that we are sharing now with you this week is spaces where we know we feel like we belong. We did go into spaces where we said, we can't do it. We literally walked around some spaces and there was even no mention of cultures, ethnicities, and races other than white. And we said in good faith, we can't bring people who are seeking wellness and seeking a peace and a joy and an evolution of self to a space where they can't even see themselves. So we have been very intentional about choosing where we're going to choose to share space collectively with each of you.
So thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. If anyone has any questions, we're happy to answer them. And we will be continuing to do these lives to promote the event. If you know of someone who would benefit from participating, please share this information with them. And please plan on joining us in Miami, and let's enjoy some beautiful Miami culture, flavor, music, and also relax, recharge, refresh, and build community with each other so we can start 2024 on the right path.
Okay. Be well as we enter into this weekend. Don't forget to center your joy, your peace, your happiness, because we all matter.
Yes. Thank you, Future. I feel so much better after this conversation already.
Thanks, Karen. Sending you love. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.